Hey guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to another video. We are back in my home library today to talk about my biggest surprises and disappointments, and I don't know which one I'm going to do first, we'll see, of 2024. But first, our drink of the episode is some caffeine. Maybe I'll tell I've had a little bit already. It is the Alani Dream Float flavor. This is supposed to be orange creamsicle. I normally love orange creamsicle. It's a little too orangey for me, I think, and it's a little too syrupy. So I'm not a huge fan. I think I'm gonna pause on that one. So should we do disappointments first so that we can end happier? Let's do that. Okay, biggest disappointments of the year. Oh, not that these are all bad books. These are just ones that I thought would be better than they were. So first one, Air of Fire, Sarah J. Maas, because however you say it. I really liked the first two books in the Throne of Glass series, as in like 3.5 stars, something like that. I think I gave the first one like 3.5. I think I gave the second one 3.75. I thought it was actually trending positive. I thought it was going to go up, but instead Air of Fire really let me down. I thought it was so boring. And I know that, she was young when she wrote Throne of Glass, and everybody's like, oh, her writing style gets so much better because she gets older, she's a better writer. I didn't think so. I just really hope that the rest of the series is not quite as boring as Air of Fire. I just really feel like nothing was really happening. I wasn't connected to the characters. I didn't really enjoy the plot. I didn't really even like the things that were happening. We met this other random character that I just didn't care about at all. And I'm sure she'll be connected to the main storyline, but I don't know how yet. And she wasn't really even important yet. So conflicted about whether to continue with book 4, because I'm realizing that these are not my kind of books. I'm a weird type of fantasy reader, I've discovered. And so I'm just pretty sure this is not going to be the book series for me. I could be persuaded maybe to try book 4 if somebody could tell me that book 4 is more similar to book 2 than it is book 3, because that's what I need. Another disappointment, A Murderous Relation, book 5 in the Veronica Speedwell series. Book 4 was my favorite in the series, A Dangerous Collaboration. I've enjoyed them all, though. They're all good. I didn't like book 3 as much, but the rest of them liked very much. Loved book 4. Oh my gosh, the tension between Stoker and Veronica, right? They're clearly going to get together at some point. What happens in this book is just disappointing. I don't even want to tell you too much, but it's disappointing, and it makes me think the rest of the series is going to be somewhat disappointing as well, because I went ahead and read book 6 as well, and it wouldn't be on the list. It could be on the list, except that I knew that since I didn't like book 5, I was pretty sure I wasn't going to like book 6, and yeah, I was pretty disappointed in book 6 as well. So, sad, but I will continue the series and see if it gets any better. Okay, so biggest disappointment, one of them is, so you're in a minute, you're going to see this on my surprises list, because I really like the Raven Boys. So I'm going to say the last book in the Raven Boys series. I mean, they're all kind of a disappointment, but this one, The Raven King, which I have somewhere, I think it's upstairs. I couldn't be bothered. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I found it. The Raven King, because I couldn't make it through it. I gave book 1 4.5 stars. It was in my favorites of the year, people. And then books 2 and 3 were like, book 3 was even worse than book 2. It was really starting to go downhill, just boring, not much really happening, didn't really care, didn't get exciting. Whereas the first one set up so much cool stuff that could have happened. But then book 4 was so boring. I think I only made it like 10%. I did not make it far. I feel bad how little shot I gave this, but I went ahead and read a plot summary online, and I wanted to see how it ended. Turns out not much happens in the book, and it ends so blandly for how big of a thing this was going to be from the beginning. So I don't know if I recommend the series or not, because the book 3 of the books are really not good. I mean, technically I didn't finish this one. Book 1, amazing. The rest of them not. So, but why would you want to have that great setup for not a good payoff? I don't know. So disappointment because of how much I liked the first one. But at least I didn't put too much time into these books. I read them all back to back to back, so it wasn't too much of my life that I was waiting on I wasn't waiting on the books to come out or anything like that. That would have been really, really disappointing. 2 more, which is How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying. I wound up giving this 3 stars. So obviously it wasn't a terrible book. But for me, the writing style is what made this book. I love the writing style, and some people hate it. I feel like it's a very, very divisive book. It's like, if you like Deadpool and that sort of humor, very cheeky, very breaking the fourth wall, just that kind of humor. If you like Deadpool's humor, that's this type of humor. And I really, really liked it because I do like Deadpool. And that is my type of humor. But the plot was boring. I just didn't care about the plot. So had I liked the plot better, I even liked the character and I liked her style, I don't think I'll continue the series because I'm so afraid that the rest of it's going to be just as boring. Unless the reviews are like, wow, this book's so much better than the first one. It's got the same writing style, but it's like so much more exciting. Then I just didn't feel like there was much exciting actually happening in the plot. But I guess if you're trying to be the Dark Lord, you got to start out small. So maybe things will get bigger and bigger as the series goes on. And finally, my number one disappointment of the year, because I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 5 disappointments. Darkly by Marisha Pessl. We all know Neverworld Wake is my favorite, probably favorite all-time young adult book ever. Love Neverworld Wake so much, and I could not wait to read Darkly because it's another young adult book by Marisha Pessl, and I got the arc of it. I applied for the arc, I got the arc, I read the arc, and I was sadly incredibly disappointed in the arc. I gave it 2 stars. It was supposed to be about a board game empire with like a weird creator that was, you know, she's dead now, but like there was a mystery with that. There were going to be all these like mysteries. It was going to be so fun. No. The characters, like, oh my gosh. One, they were really annoying except for the main character. And the way that they talked, like they're supposed to be teenagers, but they didn't talk like teenagers at all. And I know that they're smarter than other people, but it was ridiculous. That's not how people talk in conversation. And the plot went off the rails at the end. Like there was a plot twist that was so predictable, it like wasn't even funny. I was like, really? That's the twist? And then the thing that happens on the very last page at the end makes no sense. It is the stupidest ending like ever. Sorry, Marisha Pessl. I'm so sorry if you're watching this. I do love your other books, I promise. And I will continue to read Marisha Pessl because I want to read Special Topics in Calamity Physics. I read Night Film, so I need to read her other adult book. I think that's her only other adult book. So I will be reading that this fall. I like to read one every fall. It feels like they're good fall reads because of the atmosphere of the books. But I do think that this one, I don't know. It was trying to be too ambitious. I wish it had more about the actual board game. It's not even a board game. It's more like a game you play in real life. And I did not understand the rules at all. They never really explain it. It's just ridiculous. And yeah, my biggest disappointment of the year. Okay, so biggest surprises of the year. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 surprises. And 2 I've already kind of mentioned, so I'll go ahead and mention them just real quick, is Crown of Midnight, because I thought I would not like the Throne of Glass series. And I gave the first one like 3.5 stars, like I said, but then this one was even better. I think I gave it 3.75, and I thought we were on a good track, but no, because we just saw the disappointment later on. But this one was more exciting than I expected. It was just a fun little, young adult time, good time. That's about it. So, but that one surprised me because it was better than I thought it was going to be. The other one that I kind of mentioned already was The Raven Boys, and this was the biggest surprise really probably of the year because I DNF'd it previously. I think I'd made it like 29% or something close to that the first time, and that was like 2 years ago. And it was because I listened to the audiobook the first time, and I just can't get into fantasy when it's audio, even if it's young adult, apparently, for the most part. So reading it physically, the only reason I gave it another shot is because Kayla from Books and La, it's like her favorite series. And I was like, okay, we have pretty similar taste a lot of the time. So I'm going to give it one more shot and try to see what does she see in this book. And then I really, really enjoyed it. Now, the rest of the series, not so much. We'll just go ahead and get the other obvious surprise out of the way. It's my favorite book of the year, the Elon Musk biography. Very much a surprise because it's nonfiction. I don't usually even really enjoy nonfiction that much. I very rarely pick it up. I read maybe 1 or 2 nonfiction books a year, but this one was epic and amazing, and I talk about it all the time, so I'm not going to go into it again here, but so good. Also very, very big and very readable. So fun. Even if you don't like Elon Musk, it is just a wild story. Okay, next surprise was The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes because I gave it 4.5 stars. I talked about it already in my favorites video, so I won't go into depth here about why I love it so much. But once again, if you like X-Men and you like serial killers, it like combines the two. They don't actually have superpowers, but it's like almost superpowers because their abilities are like so good. And there's a hint of a love triangle, but I don't think it overshadows like the plot or anything. And there's like more of an overarching mystery as well in the whole series. So I can't wait to continue the series. I actually gave the second book 4.5 stars as well. So that's also was surprising because usually the second book isn't as good if the first book is that good, I don't know. Anyway, loved it. Next is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This was shocking. It was also on my favorites of the year, so I won't talk about it too much, but it was shocking because I had DNF'd 2 other books by Brandon Sanderson, so I'd never made it through one, and I actually swore I would never try another Brandon Sanderson again. But I think I'll do kind of like a 3 strikes you're out kind of thing, or like third time's the charm sort of situation, because, you know, if I don't like 2, I could try 1 more. And if I don't like 3 books by that author, then they're out. But since I did try 1 more and liked it, then I guess I can't ever get rid of anybody else. Who else would be the one? Stephen King? Now, I have tried like 3 Stephen King books though, so I think he is out. Okay, 2 final books. Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. I think I've told you this story before. There's a student at school. Last year she was a freshman. Now this year she's a sophomore, obviously. But her freshman year, she would come to the library every single morning, every day, and talk to me about books. And usually she would talk to me about what she was currently reading, but she would always talk to me about her favorite book ever that got her into reading, and that was Shatter Me. She's like, Miss Music, you have to read Shatter Me. You'll love it. I was like, no, I won't. It's like, she told me it was like dystopian romance. I don't like the Hunger Games. I'm not into dystopian stuff except for 1984. I don't like romance. I don't like young adult romance. I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be terrible. But I thought that it would be a fun surprise for her if I read it over the summer and then surprised her on the first day of school with the fact that I had read it. You know, if I just like said something random about the book when she came in, she's like, wait, what? You read it? So I did. And it surprised me. I gave it 3.5 stars. I don't think it was anything spectacular, but to me, it was the writing, like the prose was beautiful. Tahira Mafi is just a wordsmith. It was always very poetic, to the point that it was a little over the top sometimes. Like, I think in my vlog where I read the book, I read a paragraph where like every sentence is like parallel sentence structure. Like there's 3 sentences in a row that are like parallel sentence structure. Then the very next one, parallel sentence structure. Very next one, parallel. It was like it's little sets of parallel sentences. Lots of similes, metaphors. I mean, it's just very, very poetic. And I actually really, really enjoyed that. More so than I did like just the plot of the book or anything. But I think I like where the series is going. I think this is just a very simple, basic introduction to the story. Like it just seems really simple. Not much happening. But I'm pretty sure that it's going somewhere where there's a lot more going to happen now. Like the setup, it was really crazy. It almost seemed like it would be like a prologue to the series. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the rest of the book, but it almost does. It seems like this would be kind of the number 0 book and that the next one's number 1 or something, you know? I don't know. But I will continue the series. And finally, the last surprise is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I think I wound up giving this 3.75 stars. And I am going to continue to just a duology because it was way more just like about the fantasy than it was the romance, which I really liked. And I think it's young adult. Is it? I don't know. Wait, was it not? Wait, actually, it might have been in the adult section at my library. I think I got it out of the adult section. Now that I think about it, yep. Could be adult. I don't know. New adult maybe. But I mean, it definitely reads kind of young adult. Yeah, this was so good. Like the magic system was really, really unique where like you can get these cards to like use to have different powers and stuff, and it was really cool. But the main character has this like secret magic ability that like if people knew she had it, like it'd be really bad because nobody's supposed to have this. And she also has this like thing living inside of her head, which I don't even want to tell you, but because it'd be a spoiler, but in one of my favorite series of all time, that happens at one point to the character where there's like an entity living inside of the main character's head for several books in the series, and it's so cool. I love it so much. I love that plot. Like that just, I don't know, because it's so fun to have that little dynamic where they can talk to the thing in their head, you know, obviously. And usually the thing in their head is bad, or at least it was in the series that I read. And then in this one, it's sort of the case too. It's like this really ancient, powerful being that basically shares her headspace and no one knows it, but he can help her and give her kind of extra abilities. So the ending was crazy. One of the best endings I think I've like ever read. Like the end, I did not expect that ending. And I was like, wait, what happened? Like what? I don't know where this is going in book 2, but I have to find out. So those are some of my biggest surprises and disappointments. Let me know down below if you felt anything similar with those disappointments, if you had the same reaction, or if you might try any of the books that are in my surprises. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.